To start the year, I picked the Atlanta Braves to win the division. I picked the New York Mets to make the playoffs. At a certain point in the year, you just think, okay, like, are the Braves even going to be able to come back? Are the Braves even going to be able to win this division? Well, at the end of May, the Braves were 10.5 games out of first place. 10.5. Here we are on the 4th of July, and the Braves are 2.5 games out of first place. Now, is that because the Mets are Metting? I've sat here and said many times the Mets aren't going to Met this year. And they're not. And they haven't. The Braves have just been that good. They start the month on a 14-game winning streak, which is tough to do better than that. 14-game winning streak to start the month. They're 21-6. They went 21-6 in the month of June, matching their most wins in a month since they moved to Atlanta in 1966. 21 wins in the month. So why is this all happening? Well, Ronald Acuna didn't start the year, might I add. This was a big reason why I said at the beginning of the year, one, I picked the Braves to be in the World Series. I said I think they can be better than they were last year. But Ronald Acuna Jr. didn't start the year on the team. He was hurt. They were 8-11 before Acuna returned. Since his return, the Braves are 38-22. They are 30-15 in the 45 games that Ronald Acuna has played this year. That's pretty special. The Braves are rolling. They have caught the Mets, and they are 2.5 games now behind them.
Has there been anyone this season that's come back from injury that has been more impactful and more meaningful to a ball club than Ronald Acuna Jr.? It seems like he changed the whole trajectory of the season.
Yeah, I would say not yet. But you know who has a possibility to do that? The Mets. With Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer on the heels of a return. So here's where we have it. You're right. As of this point, I don't see how a guy can come back and be more impactful. I mean, 8-11 before his return and 38-22 since his return. I mean, you can point to the date and say, this is when they turned it around. This is when Ronald Acuna came back. But the Braves have been doing it aside from just him. You know, there was a lot of drama regarding this team coming into the year. Freddie Freeman out the door. How can the Braves let Freddie Freeman go? Well, that's just amplified. There's a lot more drama to it than we all thought. But what they did in return was bring in Matt Olson. Now, Matt Olson hasn't been Freddie Freeman this year, but he's been good. Matt Olson, 248, 12 homers, 43 RBIs, leads all of baseball in doubles. Matt Olson becomes the first Braves player to ever hit 30-plus doubles before the All-Star break. We're still a couple of weeks away from the All-Star break. A week and a half? That's pretty special. Matt Olson has been good for the Braves. Austin Riley, 20 homers so far this year. 263 average, tied for 9th in all of baseball in homers. One of just a few players in all of baseball that has 20 home runs. Dansby Swanson. Let's talk about Dansby. Dansby the Mansby. I just made that up. I kind of like it. Dansby the Mansby. Batting .305, 14 homers, 46 RBIs, leads all shortstops in OPS at .871, and runs scored. He scored 50 runs this year, 5th in all of Major League Baseball in hits. Dansby started off the year struggling. Since then, these numbers are because what he did in the month of June and a lot of May is he has just been one of the best players in all of baseball for a while now. Dansby is incredible and Dansby should be the starting shortstop in the All-Star game. That's for sure. Now, before I move on and stop talking about the Braves, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Michael Harris II. Michael Harris II comes up as a rookie, and what he has done since, not only just played a Gold Glove caliber outfield, by the way, he's been incredible in center field. He's hit .347 with 4 homers and a .945 OPS in June. And he's hitting at the back end of that lineup. He adds a whole nother dimension, a whole nother layer to a lineup that is already really good. The Atlanta Braves have gotten back in the NL East race, not because the Mets have metted. It's because they've just been the best team in baseball for a while now. In the month of June, there was nobody better. But that's pretty special to cut a division lead. But it was 10.5 down to 2.5. Now, I do want to, before I move on and talk about something else, we need to talk about the Mets real quick. Because I've been a proponent of saying the Mets aren't going to Met. So how are we here? How do they cut a division lead from, they had it at 10.5, it's now 2.5. Well, they don't have the two best pitchers, arguably two of the best pitchers in the game of baseball. Jacob DeGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. Max Scherzer is certainly one of them. They've been staying afloat without them. Now they're barely hanging on by a thread, but they're still in first place. Max Scherzer will be coming off the IL to start on Tuesday in Cincinnati, and Jacob DeGrom is set out to be on a rehab assignment, which is great news. Jacob DeGrom will start a rehab assignment tomorrow with Low A St. Lucie. Buck Showalter said as much. That's really cool for fans of the game of baseball. Jacob DeGrom being back out on the field is massive. He's the best pitcher in the game of baseball. He throws 102 miles an hour and he paints it on the corner. It's like he's throwing darts. That's what Jacob DeGrom is. So to get him back, look, you know every fifth day you're going to be in the game. You know every fifth day you're going to be in the game when Max Scherzer is there. That's a totally new dynamic. And now here we are. It's almost the All-Star break. The Mets are going to get back to full health here soon. The Braves are on a roll. We are in for a treat in the NL East. The Mets, they're not going to Met. They are fantastic. The Braves have been the best team in baseball. Now they're both going to be at full strength relatively here soon, and we are going to have an absolute dogfight in the second half of the year in the NL East.
Does anything worry you about the Mets, though, about having to rely so heavily on the return of Scherzer and DeGrom and hoping that they can stay healthy through the second half of the year?
I would say they don't. I would say they don't have to rely that heavily. Yeah, the Braves have cut the lead down from 8 games just a month ago, but it's because they put together arguably the best month in their franchise history. So, yeah, the Mets haven't tanked. They've been playing fine. You know, they run into the Houston Astros and did not look good there. You know, that was a good test for them. They were the best team in the National League for a while. Then they run into the Houston Astros and just show, okay, maybe they're not on that elite scale just yet. But they were still playing good baseball even throughout the stretch that the Braves went on. So they're still in the division lead. I don't think they needed to rely on those guys coming back. They did just fine. But now they're going to be back and they're going to be even better. This tweet, I love you guys, but you've got to chill. The Mets just lost to an excellent Astros team. It's June 29th, and they have the best record in the National League. They've done it without 2 of this generation's best pitchers, both of whom are on the verge of returning. This isn't last year. Yes, and that has been my point this entire time with the Mets, is this isn't last year. The Mets will be fine. Will they win the division? I don't know, but they will be in the playoffs. They will be in a dogfight with the Atlanta Braves, and it's because this team is built different. Steve Cohen did a fantastic job building this team. They don't have to rely on Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer to return. They are just that much better when they do and can compete with anybody in the world when both of those guys are on the mound. If Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer are healthy when the Mets do and will get into the playoffs, nobody wants to face them. I don't care if it's as a wild card team or a division winning team. Nobody wants to face those guys when the top 2 guys in the rotation are pitching and they're healthy. They just don't want to do it. Whew.
You good?
Yeah, I went on a little, I got heated there. But I'm serious. I get frustrated when people just say, here they go, the Mets are going to Met. That's not the case. Look, I have the Braves in the World Series, and I have them there for a reason, and they are showing that right now. I also believe in the Mets. Both can be true, and both are true. The Mets aren't tanking. They just run into a division and into a division rival where the Braves are just playing like the best team in baseball right now. That's not their fault. They're going to be just fine. I get heated when people say the Mets are going to Met. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.